Hi, I'm Andy from Iconiq Studios, and today I'm here to unbox the official 1/6 scale Ryu from Street Fighter V Champion Edition from our company Iconiq Studios in collaboration with TB League. I'm aware a lot of people are really excited, and this is the final production piece for you guys to have a look at. So what we should really do is get this one unboxed and have a look at what's inside. So starting with the front of the box, you can see you have our unique Ryu art that's been produced by our wonderful artist Hugo. This has been approved by Capcom and the Street Fighter team, and it has that real special move in the middle of the fight look, which is something we really wanted to replicate. We've got all the logos and everything you see here, Iconiq, TBL, Capcom, all the official logos that are required. Moving our way to the side of the box, you can see we've got the one-player, two-player, player select motif working its way down the side of the box. And the purpose of this is that if you decide to buy multiple of these, you can have them side by side to create yourself sort of a makeshift character select screen for either multiple characters or multiple versions of the same character. So making our way across to the back, you can see our QR codes for registering your figure and all the usual warnings and information, and I've split down the back of the box, which I'll explain a little bit later. And as you can see on the other side of the box, we have the other version of the player select motif. So overall, it's a very sort of artistic package, but when you open this box, first of all, there is a plastic cover to protect the overall art, and you just slide this off from the side, and then take your time to make sure that you deal with this correctly, because it is quite a heavy figure, and you want to make sure that you're handling it appropriately. So you open the magnet sections at the back, like so, which will allow you to, basically pop this out for display purposes, and this is something we're rather proud of at Iconiq, something that, really makes this figure package stand out. So let's put the figure to one side. I know you all want to see it, but let's see that a little bit later. And you'll be able to see the fold-out lid turns into the Ryu stage, which is obviously very iconic from the games. You remember it all the way back through Street Fighter 2 and onwards, but, for me, this really captures the Street Fighter 5 look. So after you've removed the outer box with the backdrop, you'll be presented with this inner sheet, just to sort of hold things like the instruction manual in there, but also it's nice to be able to put this in and cover up the box when the backdrop is out on display for storage purposes. This has all the credits and also a little bit of a shout out to the special moves list from the video game, which is obviously very important to anybody who plays Street Fighter. So opening this up, first of all, the instruction manual. Very, very important to read this. It's going to show you how to fit parts of the figure. There are instructions specifically from TBL on how to handle the figure itself as well. And it'll tell you how to set up things like the base, exchange the hands, and everything that you need to do whilst handling the figure. So now we're going to unpack the figure. I do recommend it be on a surface like a table or something quite sturdy. It's quite a heavy figure, and there are two clam trays inside. There's one that contains your figure and the hand sculpt and the head sculpt, and there is also an additional clam tray that contains accessories. And now we're going to open them all up and show you what's inside. So starting with section 1, we'll just pop the top of the clam tray out, which will allow us to get to the figure underneath and all of those hand sculpts. So the figure itself will have silica gel in with it, so make sure that you don't put that anywhere near your mouth or allow children to get to it or anything like that. The figure will require some sort of movement and sort of handling when you get it out to make sure things like the bandana, the accessories, and everything like that are nicely posed. And this is the final production Ryu, which really embodies everything that we wanted to do, capturing that sort of one skin tone and matching the body to the head sculpt. And I just think it has a lot of presence for me personally. Obviously this is not a review, this is just us opening the box, but I'm very proud of what we've achieved. And just moving him into a slight pose, you can see that we have sort of the detailing on the lips and the head and the shading and everything along that lines. The hair has been put together from several parts to make sure we've got that spiky sort of look rather than sort of a wilted look like you sometimes might get in production. We've got the wired bandana, which you will have seen before, which poses really, really nicely and adds a lot of character. Just bringing him towards the camera for you to see that sort of intense expression. I'm really proud of the way that this one has come out. So now we move on to the second head sculpt, which is sort of the angry head or the expression head. I really think this captures that sort of angry look, from the special moves and from the charging the fireball and everything within Street Fighter. This is my personal favourite because I think it allows for more optional posing and more expressions. When you've got figures, sitting together, I really am proud of the way that this one looks as well. It's been made in separate parts. Teeth are a separate part to make sure that they've got a level of detail that doesn't just fade into the sculpt. So as we can see from bringing him up a little bit closer, you can see the clarity in the way that the expression looks and how close it is to the prototype. So, hand sculpt, one of the most important things with the figure. First of all, we'll start with fists. Definitely an essential thing for a fighting game figure. You can see all the wrinkles throughout the leather and the level of painting that's gone into them to make sure it's got all the individual details of the glove. We then have what I'd like to refer to as the charging hands or the grappling hands. Yet again, you can see all the individual indentations as you move along. We also have a pair of sort of palm strike hands, which are also used for different fireball-related poses as well. From there, we also have our gesture hands, very Bruce Lee-esque, can be used for holding the strap to the bag as well, but really, really nice when on. And finally, that relaxed hand, always important to have those if you want a more stoic sort of pose. We then have our linked hands, which are both plug into the base of each arm, allowing for that unique fireball pose. They do take two hands to put them together. As you can see, we've poked each of the little pegs into the bottom of the glove. You'll find out how to do this in the instruction manual, but here's it all put together for you. So to fit the hands, first of all, you'll notice there's a hole inside each of the hand sculpts, and these plug into the metal peg that is at the base of the arm. I recommend using two hands to make sure you have an appropriate level of force when fitting these hands onto the figure. There are also a pair of interchangeable feet sculpts for the figure. These include bent toes and flat feet. They will require a little bit of force to place onto the bottom of the figure because they're meant to be secure and not swinging around, so your figure will have something firm to stand on. The base itself is really easy to put together. It's just a matter of taking the pole and screwing it into the section at the top of the base. The nut will connect inside and these will screw together, allowing you to have a secure pole with a grip on top. Moving on to the fireball from the lower section of the clam tray. This comes individually wrapped, and what you'll see when you unpack it is that the fireball is a little bit flexible, and that's to allow for sort of transportation and general use, wear and tear, things like that. When you examine the fireball, you'll see that there are some marked sections. So there's a little mark here, and there is a hole on the opposite side. And the purpose of this is so you can place the pole up through the fireball and secure it into the top section as marked. When you've got the pole in, you'll need to then fit the lower stand. So the lower stand's in the box, it's a little circle like this, and this places on nicely like so, and you want to flatten that out so it can sit on your surface, like so. Here's just a little close-up of the fireball just to show you how the light hits it and works its way through. I'm really proud with how this has come out, and it's going to look great displayed with your Ryu. So we also have Ryu's bag. It's soft, it's nicely weathered, and looks really nice for displaying with the Ryu figure. Thank you for joining us for this unboxing. We look forward to all of you having these figures shortly and having the opportunity to showcase them, display them, photograph them, review them, and let us know what you think. Thanks again for supporting us at Iconiq Studios. Also, where's Ken?